Okay. At the end of this topic, you will be able to discuss the components of tourism. What are those different components and what are those different factors that contributes to the success of the tourist destination or of the tourism and hospitality industry in general. Um, Another one is to differentiate the characteristics of services, which is the tourist or the tourism and hospitality product, the service. What would be the characteristics of our tourism and hospitality products compared to other industries products? No? Although our industry do have also a product which is the most important one is a service. It's a form of service, other meaning it's intangible, but in other industry in a form of goods, which is also tangible. We also have to explain, you will be able to explain the elements of tourism. What are those different elements of tourism? What are those different components of tourism? What those elements of tourism that could be uh, uh, draw an assessment to differentiate the tourist product or the tourism and hospitality product to other industry. Okay, let's have first the components of tourism or the factors of tourism. We call this one as interrelated factors that contributes to the success of the tourist destination. These three interrelated factors, we call this one as 3 A's of tourism. 3 A's of tourism. These three factors or these three components is what we call interrelated factors. They are related to each other. The absence of the absence of one among these three interrelated factors means the failure of the tourist destination. When we talk about tourist destination, a place where our visitors visit, no, mahimo ra sad siyang tourism. It's a product of tourism, that the attraction or the tourist destination. It's a product of tourism and hospitality, which is the tourist destination or the visitor's destination. A place where our visitors visit is what we call tourist destination. Now, the the question is, what would be our indicators or what would be our indicator that this tourist destination is successful? Unsa tong timailhan that this tourist destination is successful? Kining usa ka lugar nga agtuanan og mga bisita is successful. Our indicator would be if a tourist destination is well visited by a lot numbers of tourists or of visitors drew to that particular place. And another one is a repeat customers or repeat visitors visiting to that particular place. No, so our indicators atong timailhan nga successful ning tourist destination kini nga lugar kung daghang mga bisita mo bisita to that particular destination. Another one is kung magbalik-balik atong bisita mga mo bisita to that particular destination. Examples of tourist destinations in our localities, we have Boulevard, we have Plaza Los, we have Rotonda, we have in Zamboanga del Sur, we have Tambunan in Tabina, Blue Lagoon, San Pablo, and so on and so forth. Those are examples. Lake Maragang, Lakeview Resort in Biswangan, Lakewood. Those are examples of tourist destination. Now the question would be, how are we going to assess or is those particular tourist destination being mentioned are successful? Daghan bang tao ni agto didto? Daghan bang mga nagbalik-balik og agto didto to that particular tourist destination? Let's find out. And again, let's have this what we call components of tourism or the trees of tourism, which are three interrelated factors that must be provided by the tourism and hospitality industry so that there must be a guarantee, there will be a guarantee, there will be an assurance that the tourist destination will become successful. What are those three interrelated factors? First one we have, according to the Enuga State Tourism Board, these are considered the three E's of tourism. One of the main components of tourism is accessibility. Number one is accessibility. Among the three factors, the number one component or the number one factor is what we call accessibility, which refers to the ability for tourists to get to the destination. This mostly includes transportation. Accessibility means transportation. Transportation. This refers how to transport the tourist from its originating place to the tourist destination or to the place they are going to visit. Meaning, accessibility means giunsa pagbiyahe sa atong tourist gikan sa ihang gipuy-an, gikan sa ihang lugar nga gipuy-an padulong sa iyang gustong agtuan. This refers or this must mostly includes transportation which needs to be regularly scheduled, economical, safe, and comfortable. Accessibility in terms of transportation must be regularly scheduled. Unsa regularly scheduled? Na regular nga biyahe from your originating place to that destination and vice versa. From that destination to your originating place, pauli. Economical, the price is worth or reasonable, safe and comfortable, safe to travel from your originating place to the destination, comfortable to travel from your originating place to the destination and vice versa. These are very important factor to consider with even how attractive your tourist destination or how beautiful your tourist destination is if accessibility is not being provided by our tourism and hospitality industry, meaning it could be a reason to the failure of our tourism and hospitality sector. Unsa man din accessibility? Mao ni ang modalan nimo to the tourist destination sa imong gustong agtuan. Now, in terms of transportation, dapat na irregular nga biyahe. Kaya para inig-agto nimo dito anytime you want to visit to that particular destination, there is available mode of transportation. The mode of transportation, kanang klase sa transportation, depends on the nature or of the place nga imong agtuan. Of course, kung mutabok og dagat ang imong agtuan, kung it's an island, dili po siguro ka mag-tricycle sa dagat padlong sa island, no? So it depends the nature, your mode of transportation depends the location of and the mode of transportation available to reach the particular destination. So we could have a lot mode of transportation we can have. For a land, we have tricycle, buses, motorcycle, and kanang mga nagbiyahe sa yuta. We have trains, and so on and so forth. When we talk about water, natay mga pump boat, natay mga vessel, like cruise ship, kung maagto usab og submarine imong sakyan padulong to reach to that particular destination. Mode of transportation for air, we have helicopter, we have airplane, and so on, kanang mo reach nimo through air, no? So how important accessibility is to the success of our tourist destination. If it's difficult to travel from your originating place to that particular destination, meaning that it could be the reason for the failure of of that particular tourist destination. There, kung naay sakyanan pero mahal ang pamasahe, di nakaganahan moadto didto. Naay sakyanan pero dili safe. So kay kanang mga guba-guba nga mga sakyanan. So meaning di kaganahan moadto dito nga lugar. Dili comfortable. Might be it's because of ang dalan, no? Ang dalan niya, it's not comfortable. Ang place niya, it's not comfortable to travel with. So meaning dili na kaganahan moadto sa usa ka lugar. So unsay mahitabo sa usa ka lugar? Failure. Walay mo bisita niya dito, it's because the accessibility is not being provided by the tourism and hospitality industry or by the tourism and hospitality sectors. Look what happened, kinsay taga Tigbaw dire, kinsay taga Bigong dire, or sakop sa Tigbaw. The known tourist attraction in Bigong or in Tigbaw is the Lake Maragang. No? The Lake Maragang is a beautiful place blessed with the lake itself. No? The lake itself is a tourist destination, is an attraction that could possibly visited by lot numbers of people or lot numbers of visitors. But what happened to Lake Maragang? Wala kay mga adto, gamay ray mga adto. Di na pag yun magbalik-balik og adto dito. It's because of the accessibility. Walay mode of transportation ay tries anay habal-habal pero dili gyud maabot dito sa lake itself. No? Naray mag-hike pag yug ka. Now kung naaga ni siya habal-habal mo biyahe dito, the agianan sad is not safe, it's not comfortable to travel with. Pang-pang, libaong-libaong, and so on and so forth. Lake Maragang is a beautiful place to visit, supposed to be a very good place to visit, but it's because of the accessibility, it's because of the manner of transporting a tourist from originating place to that particular destination is difficult, does not provide a comfortable, a safe, and economical and scheduled mode of transportation. So what happened to the tourist destination? It becomes failure. No? I've visited as well the Ribi Beach before. I don't know what happened to San Pablo nowadays, but I've katumangong pag-agto na ako Ribi Beach in San Pablo, I promised myself not to visit again the resort. Why? It's because of the accessibility. Pagliko pa lang namo diri, pagsulod pa lang namo diri sa Dumalinaw, unahan gamay kining sa nga lugar diri sa ning una kining padulong sa night cruising dira dapit before sa tulay night cruising mo kuan ka padlog San Pablo, dira pa lang unahan gamay naka-experience na mig roller coaster travel. It's because ang dalan grabe daghan kay mga libaong. Ang mode of transportation is among gisakyan ato is a jeep, passenger jeep, kining makitaan nimo diri nga mga jeep nagbiyahe sa San Pablo, and it's because it's rush hour, murag nagdili siya walay scheduled nga 24/7 nga magbiyahe. So last trip among nasakyan kay from duty ni diretso we decided to visit Ribi Beach. So ni diretso mi og agto sa parkingan San Pablo only to find out the available seat sa jeep is dito sa atop. So, no choice, sa atop mi nisakay. Only to find out, along our way, daghan kay grabig libaong, takilid sa jeep, mura namig mohalok sa yuta, o sa napay uban lugar, nga pangpang kaayo nga, oh my God, mamatay naman siguro ko ani. Although pag abot nimo dito sa lugar, it's a very good place. It's because it's combination of fresh water and salt water. Kung gusto ka maligo og fresh water, di ka ganahan maligo og dagat, naay swimming pool nga overflowing of fresh water. Kung gusto po ka maligo og dagat, munaog ra ka gamay sa swimming pool, nanasay dagat clear water. Actually, the attraction or the tourist destination is very beautiful, but the accessibility is not as that beautiful. It's not being provided well by tourism and hospitality industry. So we promise not to go back there. Di, namin mo balik dito. Okay. Ba, kung anong ta, mabughat ta before ta maabot dito, mabughat ta tungod sa dalan. I don't know what happened to San Pablo nowadays, but that was our first and last visit to San Pablo, particularly to Rivi Beach. That is why accessibility is very important in developing to the success of our tourist destination. This accessibility must be given weight to the success of that particular destination. No? Kay bisan pag unsa ka nindot sa lugar kung dili walay maayo nga sakyanan, walay maayo nga dalan, wala. If you happen to visit as well Lakewood, the Lakeview Resort or the in Biswangan, the lake, because Lakewood is blessed with a kaning huge lake, dako kay nga lake, hectares of lake ang lake. I visited Lakewood before the existence of the Lakeview Resort. Wala pa gitukod ang Lakeview Resort, nakaagto na ko og Lakewood, ni visit ko Lakewood. Now, only to find out before we reach to Lakewood proper or to the lake proper, you will encounter again a roller coaster travel. Anahan ka nagmotor, the available transportation there is na bus, pero kas ara mo biyahe, isa ra ka bus. Mo biyahe padlog pagadian, buntag, pagkahapon og uli, wala kailangang sakyan kundi habal-habal. Napoy habal-habal, pero mosakay kag usa ka dupa, mo lakaw kag lima ka dupa. Kay malubong man ang kuan kay ang lapok tagahawak. Og naay medyo gahi-gahi na pud nga kalsada dito na pud ka mosakay. Dito na pud sa lapok panaogo na po ka kay i-hike ang motor. So meaning, the lake itself sa Lakewood is a beautiful place to serenade. Grabe ka peaceful, grabe ka calm ang environment. But we again promised not to visit again Lakewood. It's because of the accessibility. So meaning, the tourist destination or the tourist attraction becomes unsuccessful. It's because accessibility is not being provided. Wala gikuan ang accessibility. Now, good thing, pag tukod sa Lakeview Resort, giayo pud ang dalan. Gipasimento, gipadak-an. So nagdungan og develop. So what happened during the operation of Lakeview Resort? Daghan kayong tao mo agto. It's because it's already accessible. There's a regular schedule of transportation to transfer our tourist from its originating place to that particular destination as well as inig pauli. Naray masakyan available. Comfortable, safe and comfortable. It's because it's already concrete, kanang simentado na. So, it's a very good to places. Meaning, accessibility plays a very vital role to the success of a tourist destination. Another factor is, or the second component of tourism is accommodation, which includes the amenities and facilities of the place or of the tourist destination. Now, given that there must nindot og dalan, nindot og kaning nanay comfortable biyahe, we also have safe nga biyahe, then the question again would be, question na po nato karon is, if there is an accommodation available in that particular place. What is this accommodation all about? This means the tourists have a place to stay upon reaching the destination and a way to get food. Much like accessibility, accommodation also needs to be economical, safe, and comfortable. The type of accommodation also varies according to the location. For instance, in a stay in the mountains may require a cabin or a place to pitch tents. Other accommodation includes hotels and motels. Meaning, di ba? We in the tourism and hospitality industry is the responsible people. Kita nga naa sa taga-tourism and hospitality industry are responsible people of catering those needs of our visitors. gibutang dito, we are going to cater, we are going to meet the basic needs of our visitors. To guarantee the satisfaction of our tourists or of our visitors, we must have to meet their basic necessities. But again, it's because gusto ginato nga beyond satisfaction ang mga ma-experience atong tourist. That is why we are going to provide, we are going to meet not only basic necessities but beyond what is basic needs of our tourists in terms of accommodations. Is our tourist or is our visitor can have place to dine in kung gigutom sila? Naaba sila'y kasiaran kung gusto sila mag-CR, magamit og CR. Kung kaimnunon sila, kung giuhaw sila, naaba sila'y maimnan. Those are some examples of accommodations. Those are some needs of our tourists that must be catered by tourism and hospitality industry. Bisag unsa kanindot ang dalan, bisag unsa maayo ang mga sakyanan, well provided accessibilities, pero kung pag-abot nila dito na stranded sila, wa sila katulgan, gipanggutom sila, wa sila kananan, gipang what call this one, gipang uhaw sila, wala sila maimnan, kalibangon sila, kalibunan ray available, napagyoy anaconda, napagyoy best friend nimo dito gaatang, so what will happen to the tourist? So meaning, dili na gyud sila mo balik. No? Mo promise na nga, ay, this would be our first and last visit. So accommodation must be well provided as well so that we can have that assurance that these visitors will visit again to our place or to our tourist destination. No? Or kini pa gid nga mga tourists will recommend to their friends, to their relatives to visit that particular destination. It's because accessibility is well provided, accommodation is well provided. There's nothing to ask more. It's because it's well provided. Now, back to Ribi, unsa pagilain factor nganong dili ako ganahan moagtog San Pablo, nganong niingon na gid mi nga dili moagto didto. May gani, pag abot na mo didto, gabi na. So may gani, kay naami dalang mga sardinas. Naami dalang sardinas, na dalang basic supplies. Only to find out, pag abot na mo dito, wala yung restaurant. Na sari-sari store, ang baligya ka ng mga tuyo nga gisulod og cellophane, suka, na mga tabako, and so on and so forth. Ang saan na mo na pagkabusog. So we ask the locality, basig pwede may makautang og bugas or makapalit sa inyo og bugas then ipadungag namo. So that's one. Although na comfort room, na function hall, pero I don't know kung panahon pa ba to sa hapon to nga function hall made of nipa hat kanang yang atop nipa, pero buslot na pud kaayo ang mga gabok na sad ang mga it was made of kanang mga native materials, local materials, so naulan na nainitan nga gabok na sad. Na isa ka room, problema na mo is mag-overnight mi dito kay there is no regular transportation to transport us back to our originating place. So no choice to stay there overnight. So we asked the caretaker na aba may available room. Wala, sir. Wala gid mi room. Pero sige lang, sir, mauli lang ko sa among balay. Kamulay tulog ani among gistayhan. Na room, medyo concrete siya, half concrete, half native. Isa ka room, good for one person. Kaya ang available bed is single bed. Good for one person only. Nga, dingding na pud siya. Murag siya og kanang, kumbaga, murag tangkal sa baboy. Nga wala na space. Katurang single bed and wala na ilain. Now imagine we are 7, matulog ato. Pito mi kabuok matulog dito including Ma'am Zamora, Ma'am Librarian nato, Ma'am Sibyal, nangadto dito. Unsa na mo pagsulod sa isa ka katri. Now pag So, amo lang yung gisigo, gababag mi sa kuan, gababag mi sa katre. Pero ang katunga sa mong lawas nasa katre, ang katunga nasa siminto, nanukod. So kung every time gusto ka mo takilid kay or mo hayang or mo kulog, mo bakod sa ka, mo tindog sa ka, kay mo plaster sa imong kaugalingon. So those are factors again in terms of accommodation nganong ni promise mi nga di na ta mo balik diri oy. Og di ta mapas mo katulganan nato day napay lamok nga perting dagko amura nag mga buyog sa kadagko kay medyo lasang-lasang sila, lasang-lasang ang Ribi Beach ato nga panahon. Although the place is beautiful, pagkabuntag the ocean is very clear, the water is very clear, overflowing of fresh water, gaawas-awas gid ilang tubig sa ilang pool nga makit-an gid nimo nga without any kaning chemicals added para mo mutin-aw siya, tin-aw gid siya, clear gid siya, walay chlorine gibutang, gaawas-awas ya mulakaw ra kagamay to ay dagat. Actually we have also noticed the kaning what do you call this one, pawikan there, kaya mga turtles. Nakakita may mga itlog sa turtles dito, meaning it's a very good place actually to visit with, to swim with dito sa ocean. Kaso lang, the accessibility, the accommodation is not being provided. So wala yun siya. It's a failure. It's not being visited by lots number of people, by bulk of people. It's not being visited repeatedly. It's because makapromise ka sa imong self it would be your first and last visit to that particular place. I don't know what happened to Ribi now. I think murag nakadungog ko nga murag na ay development gi redevelop ang dalan. I don't know what happened to the dalan to make it more accessible to tourists, no? It's because again, as I said, it's our list of our tourist destination to visit with. But of course, accommodation may vary according to what you call this one, may vary according to the nature or the type of the tourist destination. If it's mountain, dili po ka kayo ka, especially so if layo gyud kay sa kabihasnan, you cannot expect, especially the nature they will be providing to their tourists or to their visitors. So kung na-inform nila dahil lang tourist na ma'am, simple ra ba ni among mga rooms here, then if dapoy mga kuan ba na selection, our tourists have given what we call this one, have given a freedom to choose what particular accommodation nga ilang gusto pilion, no? The price will vary as well. So so dapat ang tourist destination, there must be an accessibility, a very good accessibility, well provided accessibility, the same as true with accommodation that will meet our basic needs as visitor to that particular destination, no? So dapat to make it more successful ang atong tourist destination, we will be providing accessibility, we will be providing accommodation. The last one and the most important among the factors, among the three interrelated factors or among the components to the success of the tourist destination is what we call attraction. This means that the destination needs to have some draw that makes tourists want to visit. What would be your reason why you visit to that particular place? It's because of the attraction. It's because of the beauty. It's because of the scenery. Why you vi Nganong man jud maagto mangyud ka og Boracay, nganong maagto man jud kag Tabina, nganong maagto man jud kag Bohol, maagto og Palawan, maagto og Camiguin. It's because of the attraction. Why people, why tourists, why their interest aroused to visit that particular place? It's because of the attraction. It's because of the view. In some cases, the draw is scenic like mountains, lakes. In other cases, the draw might be historical or relevance. It could be a natural attraction or a man-made attraction. When we say about natural attraction, it is an attraction that is made by God or made by nature. When we say man-made attraction, attractions that are made by people or by human, no? May mga attractions nga hinimo ra sa tawo. Napoy mga attractions nga hinimo by nature, hinimo by our creator, which is our God or which is our savior, no? So this is the most important one. Nganong maagtuyo ka to that particular place? It's because of, usahay gani, we talk rest of the accessibility and the accommodation. We notice the presence or the significance of the the accessibility and the accommodation. It's because of the attraction. Mabitaw na hitabo na mo anong naabot mi og Ribi Beach. It's because gaapas mi sa attraction. Wala na mo gi-consider the accessibility and accommodation. So that's the first, or that's the very purpose, or that's the very reason why we visit to that particular place. It's because of the attraction. But again and again, even how beautiful the attraction is, even how inviting the attraction is, if the accommodation and accessibility is not being provided, meaning it could lead into unsuccessful tourist destination. So kung ang unsuccessful ang tourist destination in entirety or in general, the tourism and hospitality sector will become failure. No? So again and again, these are three interrelated factors, meaning the absence any of these three interrelated factors means the failure of the tourist destination. Kung naay amenities and facilities pero walay given ang attraction, kay mao gyud rason nganong maadto ka to that particular destination is the attraction, no? So kung naay attraction, dayon maot ang dalan, nauntay mga accommodations dito, pero maot ang dalan, dili ra gyapon successful, dili ra gyapon ganahan moadto ang visitors. Na ay nindot nga dalan, walay accommodation, di ra gyapon maagto ang visitors. That is why they are related to each other. They are inseparable. These three interrelated factors must be well provided to assure that the tourist destination will become successful. Again, our indicators that the tourist destination will become successful if the place or if the tourist destination is visited by a large number of tourists, daghang visitors, daghang tourists, daghang excursionists mo visit to that particular place, and na magbalik-balik atong tourist. Dili mo promise nga this would be our first and last visit. Mobalik pa siya agto didto. Mobalik-balik. Meaning, that would be our indicators that our tourist destination will become successful. So mind it. It's because during the crafting of your package tour, kanang maghimo na mo mismo sa inyong package tour, which is our major activity, make it sure that these three interrelated factors is well provided. Inigbuhat nimo sa imong package tour, dapat you have to consider these three interrelated factors to assure that your tourist will really buy, your visitors, your client, your guest will buy your package. Will kaning palit will purchase your package para ganahan siya mo bisita, no? O ganahan pud siya mo recommend to their friends, to their relatives nga oy didto mo sa kuan, agto mo Tabina, agto mo og Tambunan, agto mo Blue Lagoon, palit mo ani sa package tour ni Katubay, palit mo sa package tour ni Pasco. It's because it is well provided. The three interrelated factors, it's a guarantee that you will satisfy, you will meet your satisfaction during your visit to that particular place. Okay. Again, accessibility, let's have the definition of those terms. If we have accessibility means reachability to the place of destination through various means of transportation. Transportation should be regular, comfortable, economical, and safe. Today, there are various means of transportations like airlines, railways, kaning train na to mga train, surface, road or transportation or the land, and water transportation. The transportation should be there for all kinds of tourists and destination. Basta na tourist ganahan maag to that particular place nga magkabayo. So dapat na naapod may available kabayo nga mo biyahe padulong o gikag pagadian to tabi na kay gusto magkabayo imuhang tourist. Available, made available to all kinds of tourists according to the preference of our tourists. It's because gusto man nato i-satisfy, gusto man nato i-meet ang needs sa ato ang tourist. So kung unsa yang gusto siya magkabayo, why not? Pangitaan kag kabayo, sir. But of course, there's equivalent price of that. Na? Sir, mas special ra ba na siya, sir? So, kung okay ra nimo, sir, 1,000 ang pamasahe, sir, sa abang sa kabayo, sir, from Pagadian to Tabina. If it's okay to the tourist, then why not? Just to meet the satisfaction of your tourist. Whatever mode of transportation it is. Another one is, we have accommodation. Again, it is a place where tourists can find food and shelter, provided that he or she is in a fit position to pay for it. Again, as I've told you, you must have you must give your tourist or your visitor the freedom to choose what type of or what particular accommodation that will fit into their budget. Ganahan kay ko sa tambunan actually. Kung nakaagto mo tabi na yung tambunan, you really have the freedom to choose with in terms of accommodations. Ganahan ka mag-overnight, pwede ka kung medyo dako kag budget to have an overnight, na sila yung mga rooms available, no? Na sila yung mga rooms available. Pero kung gamay-gamay ra pud imong budget, then ganahan ka mag-overnight, actually they will offer tent for rent. Mag-tent lang ka, no? Good for 3 to 50, 350. So yun ana siya, mag-tent ka dito sa kuan. It's safe, swak pagit sa budget. In terms of their cottages, kung gamay ra pud imong budget, you can choose dito sa ilahang round table. Round table is only 150 compared to their cottages na 350. So you have freedom to choose with, depends on or how fit your position to pay for that particular accommodations. No? Ganahan ka magpaluto, pwede pud sila muluto. Their fisher folks are also available to assist you. Ugma, sir, magpakuha mi shells, magpakuha mi og kani nga isda, magpaluto mi, magpakilaw mi. Pwede ra sad buhaton. There is a very good comfort room. Water is available, so meaning your stay there will become pleasant. Kung wala dyan kay budget, pwede ra ka mo kuan sa entrance. Dayon, you will be, magdala lang kag mat dito sa kuan, sa balas. And you will be sa kuan ra kaayo kanang libre ra, walay gasto. You can enjoy the place, you can enjoy the relaxing clear water, the white sand of Tambunan, no? Meaning well provided. That is why also Tambunan is well visited by a large number of tourists. Usahay pa gani mountain kag cottage, usahay pa gani especially during holidays, daghan kayong tao dito, wala na cottages available. It's because naay daghan. Ako murag kaunom naman siguro ko kabalik og Tambunan, kay basta maagtog Blue Lagoon, maagtog Peebles, maagtog ato ilahang falls, moagi gyud mig Tambunan. It's because it's a very ganan mag-over murag kaduha na ako naka-overnight og Tambunan. It's a very safe, it's a very comfortable to visit, to stay with. The budget is not that big, kay pwede raman pud ikaw magdalag ka og galingon nimong tent, no? Moabang lang ka sa kuan, moabang lang mo sa lugar. 200 man siguro tong abang sa lugar, 250 sa imong entire group. Magdala mo lang mo inyong kaugalingong tent, then it makes sense. Your visit to that particular place is very satisfying. Okay, another one is the attraction. Again, it is considered as the most important basic component of tourism. Attraction means anything that creates a desire in any person to travel a specific tourist destination or attraction. Locale is another basic component of tourist. The locale may be used to include the holiday destination and what it offers to the tourist. The holiday destination may offer natural attraction. It is considered as the most important basic component of tourism. Fashion is an important factor in the demand for various tourist attraction and amenities. What I mean is, dili fashion ka ng mga sanina ha, for a tourist destination, meaning how adaptive the tourist destination to the changes based on the fashion or based on the demand of their visitors. Of course, we are talking about here the repeat visitation of our visitors to that destination. Gusto nato magbalik-balik atong tourist. Bisan pag unsaon nimo pag-provide aning accessibility, accommodation and attraction, maabot gyud sa time nga mapull-an ning visitor to visit your destination. Di ba? Like tukuran, di ba? Kadugayan natong binalik-balik sa tukuran, maligog dagat tukuran, maligog birthday again tukuran again. Sumuha pud aning tukuran, no? So unsay gibuhat sa tukuran? Change in fashion, meaning providing another forms of activities demanded by the tourists so that tourists have the reason again to revisit the destination. So meaning you will adapt the changes brought about by the demand of our tourists or of our visitors. Dili gusto sila maagtog dagat, dili gusto maligo og dagat, gusto sila magdisko-disko, mag-inom-inom. They provided, the tukuran provided different amusement, different entertainment. So, meaning karon ni balik na pugdaghan ang tao, revisit na sad ang mga visitors to tukuran. That is what we call fashion, change in fashion. No? So, meaning if you will become a a tourism operator, meaning na tag-iya ka og resort, tag-iya ka og attraction, it's because dili ratanan ha, dili again, ningon ta ganiha nga na man-made attractions. Usod na biya karon ha ka ng mga hinimo sa tao. We have the Palpalan Mountain View Resort dito ga mga different floral garden, kini mga garden ra, ordinary nga mga bukid ra na sila, gipangtamnan og mga bulak gardens. It becomes a tourist destination. Kung naamoy mga yuta, naamoy tubo dira sa inyo ha, namoy tabay dira sa inyo ha, later on basig baka iniguman nimo ini-graduate nimo, makasakay ka og cruise ship, madato na ka, katong tubod imo atog resort, paghimog swimming pool, you will become a tourist operator, a tourism operator. Inyong bukid nga way gamit kay nga sandaw ng lubi, nga laya ng mga goma, na sunog ang goma, tamninag mga bulak, arrange that one, it will become a tourist destination. No? So if that would be the case, para dili masumhan imuhang mga tourists dito, provide another forms of activities or another reasons why they are going to revisit your place. No? Tukuran, tungod kay gisuman ng mga tao nga maligog dagat dito sa tukuran, unsay gusto sa mga tao, mga different entertainment, or they provide mga water activities they provide. That is why Tukuran is being revisited now by the same visitors. Tagapagadian ra gyapon, murag kapulo na nagbalik-balik og Tukuran. It's not because of the dagat anymore, but it's because of the disco, it's because of the night party, it's because of the yards, it's because of the entertainment they provide. That is change of fashion. Okay. Attraction. There are also elements, aside from those different interrelated factors or these three interrelated factors, we have also elements of tourism, or we call this one as ingredients of tourism. Although these are some of these elements or some of these ingredients is uncontrollable by us, by the operator. No? Dili nato na makontrol, dili nato kita mo provide. It's because of the nature. They are the fundamental attractions of tourism. They can be also a considerable factor that contributes to the success of tourism. Pero lamas-lamas na gyud sila. Dili gyud maoy main nga dish, dili gyud maoy main nga putahe to the success of the tourist destination. It's because again, atong main ingredients or main component to the success of the tourist destination are those three interrelated factors. Okay, so what are those different ingredients or elements of tourism? We have pleasing weather, scenic attractions, historical and cultural factors, accessibility, again, amenities, accommodation, safety and security, other factors which includes guide or escort facilities, basic medical facilities, electricity, water, and communication system. Okay, let's have first the pleasing weather. Fine weather, fine weather with warm sunshine is one of the most important attractions of any tourist place. Of course, this is what I mean. We don't have any control about it. No, ang klima sa mga panahon, wa tay control ana kay kung paulano na sa Ginoo, nato na mapugngang ulan. Kung painito na sa Ginoo, wa tay mahimo ana pagbuot na sa Ginoo, pagbuot na sa nature. So but of course, this pleasing weather is a contributing factor to the success of the tourist destination. That is why if you notice, Philippines is well visited by different tourists or by different visitors coming from different countries. It's because we are blessed with pleasing weather. Kung mayon kag ting-init sa atoa, bisan pag ting-init, mugawas ka under the sun, okay ra, no? Unlike to other countries, kung ting-init sa ilaha, then mugawas ka, pasok ka or magka-heat stroke ka. Kung tugnaw sa atoa, ting-ulan sa atoa, wet season, tugnaw nga tolerable ra pud sa atoa, fair ra sad. Unlike them, kung mugawas ka sa didto nga ting tugnaw, mamatay ka sa katugnaw kay ga ice. And so grabe sad katugnaw, meaning extreme heat and extreme cold ila dito. Kita we are blessed with pleasing weather, no? So that is why ang atoa dire, we are well visited. So it's a good thing about Philippines. It's because we are blessed with pleasing weather. So if you notice as well, kano sa amo daghan ang bisita. That is why tourism and hospitality sector will experience its peak season. When we talk about peak season, kaning daghan kay tag customers, daghan kay tag visitors, daghan kay tag guests during dry season. During there is a warm sunshine, no? Kinsa may ganahan maglaag-lag og ting-ulan, magtugyod siguro katunang aluman gyud og lapalapa, no? Aluman og tiil nga bisag gabunok ni agtugyog Boulevard, na agtugyog Plaza Los, nga bisag murag basang piso tungod sa kalaagan, nilaag yun, no? Although naagi mga tawo nga mangyun ana, pero very rare, no? Talagsa ra kaayo. Talagsa ra makitaan. Unlike during pleasing or dry season, nindot ang panahon, gasuroy-suroy dyan, bahalag mag-hike kag boarding house padlog Boulevard. Basta lang dyan makalaag-laag, no? So that is one of the factors that contribute to the success of our tourist destination. Of course, the scenic attractions. Our scenic attractions or the scenery or the views has something to do, again and again, has something to do with the success of our tourist destination. The same as true, historical and cultural factors, our mga different parks that can showcase the history and the culture of a particular place, no? It's because it will arouse the interest of our tourists to visit and to witness that particular event. So for example, sa tuang what call this one, there is ato ang festival here in our city, the Pasalamat Festival. Di ba perting daghana kaayong tao unsa may gi-showcase nato din ha sa during our Pasalamat Festival, our history, our culture, which includes our beliefs, our traditions, and so on and so forth. It draws a lot of people to visit that particular place. It's because of the historical and cultural factors. Anong daghang maagtog Lunita? Anong daghang maagtog Nayong Pilipino? Anong daghang maagtog museum? It's because of the historical and cultural factors that may attract a large number of tourists. Another one is accessibilities. Again, the accessibilities in terms of transportation, amenities in terms of what you call this one, amenities in terms of accommodation, the amenities and facilities. But actually, you know what? Amenities and facilities can be an attraction, ha? Amenities and facilities can be called as, can be both accommodation and attraction. So for example, we have Springland Resort, no, unsa may scenery dira sa, unsa may attraction dira sa Springland Resort, di ba wala, but it's because of the presence of their amenities and facilities, ilang swimming pool, it becomes an attraction. Mao ilang main attraction why visitors visit Springland. It's because of the amenities and facilities, it's because of the swimming pool. Okay, another one is another ingredients is accommodation. Again, accommodation can be, of course, it depends upon your budget. You can actually have from the most luxurious hotel to a very simple tent, no? Of course, this one, safety and security. This is very actually important as well. Even how successful, even how attractive the tourist destination, how accessible, how well accommodated the tourist destination, if at rest the safety and security, it could be a reason to the failure of the tourist destination. Is it take risk imong life tungod lang sa imong kalaagan, di ba dili nay uban jud tungod sa kalaagan, bahalag gidungog na rang kuan kayo kanang gubot dira anytime na mag pinusilay na maggubat dira na magkuan so on dira magto gyud, pero it's very rare. Kay most important thing that we are going to consider is the safety and security. That is why inibitang sa kaning isindi, sa paningunahan sa Isindi, kining Lanao, you know what? They have actually blessed with beautiful beaches. Na sila mga beach dra nga nindot. Pero they are not known, those beaches are not known, it's because of the situation. It's because of the peace and order situation. I don't know karon, pero di ba sa unan, the place is known for anang the Masapano massacre, the sa pana nga mga tulis-tulis dira kidnap nga nahitabo dira panahona, so meaning safety and security is at risk. So nauntay tourist destination pero walay nag-visit, walay daghang ni visit to that particular place, it's because safety and security is at risk. So what happened to the place? It becomes failure. The tourist destination supposed to be the place is a tourist destination, a possible tourist destination, but it doesn't become a tourist destination. It's because of the safety and security, na? The safety and security of the place. Okay, other factors which includes the cleanliness of the place. Of course, it could be a very good attraction. That is why uh, dili sa panglibak, di what you call this one, di mabait. Actually mabait ang usa sa akong gina kanang sayangan nga lugar is the mabait. Kung tagapagadian mo, kung nakaagto na mo mabait or dili mo tagapagadian, ang mabait actually they have na part of mabait nga murag white ang sand, na part niya nga cream iyang sand, na part nga nindot ang dagat, but it's because of the people living nearby. Inigtaob, makita ang mong mga basura ng lutaw. So, inig sulod pa lang nimo daan, you can see different garbages being dumped anywhere. There is no kaning organized kaning dumping of garbages, of throwing garbages dito sa place. So, sayang ang lugar. No? Sayang ang lugar. So, cleanliness could be a contributing factor to the failure of our tourists. So, we will have, of the tourist destination. So, we will take note of the cleanliness to assure that our tourist destination will become successful. Welcoming a visitor or being courteous. People could be a reason. People living within the tourist destination or nearby the tourist destination could be a contributing factor to the success of our tourist destination. That is why later on our destinations, no, on our discussions, we will find out how important these different people living within the destination or in the locality to the success of our tourist destination or of the tourism and hospitality sectors. Dapat well-informed ni sila about the operation. Dapat kay balo sila. It's because they must have to be courteous, they must be hospitable to our visitors. Kay basin og sila mao'y rason na nung dili na mo balik atong tourist dito sa tuang place. Dili na mo balik og visit atong visitors to our tourist destination. So for example, nigawas og resort, niagto og nangita og tindahan sa locality kay nahutdan og uling. Pag abot dito, of course, naagtog dagat, nag-ipok og short kay naka-swimming attire, giyaga-yagaan, gibastos sa mga tawong namuyo dito. It's traumatic experience of our visitors, so dili na siya mobalik or tulison baka siya dito or unsaon baka siya dito, ibuli baka siya dito sa mga tao nga namuyo dito. So it could be a traumatic experience of our visitors that could be a reason nga dili na siya mobalik sa lugar, no? Ang pinakauna gyud, ang pinaka-important is our drivers. Kini atong mga drivers ba, atong mga kaning murag frontliners in our industry who have the opportunity, to face to face with our tourists. Kay usahay pag naog pa lang nila sa airport, ang ilang experience sa ana could be the impression of our place. Bisag unsa kanindot sa lugar, bisag unsa kanindot ang accommodation, ang amenities and facilities, bisag unsa ka accessible ang place, kung muway batasan ang mga tao, kung kuan ang mga tao, lahi o gawi ang mga tao, it could be a biggest factor that will contribute to the unsuccess of our unsuccessful tourist destination. You know what? I visited Boracay, I visited Bohol, I visited Manila, Cebu, Palawan. Pero for me, sa kuha lang, ang pinakaganahan ako in terms of people is in Palawan. Sa airport pa lang nimo daan, inignaog nimo sa airport sa Palawan, you can sense the hospitality of the people. Mga drivers, pangutan-o nimo, they will really answer kaning correctly ang driver sa mga, di ba, most of the time we experience kaning sa airport mahal og pamasahe ang mga taxi, mahal og kuan diretso ana, usahay ilaron pa ka sa mga drivers, usahay ilugon pa imong bag kay para ilang pasaanon with equivalent price, tinglon kag kalit. But in Palawan you cannot experience that one. Pagtugpa namo, pag kuan, pag nangutana hadapit-tapi di makasakay, we are instructed well. Padulong mi sa kuan, sir, sa Puerto Galera, ami pwede makakuha og kaning van. Ami dira, sir, o kanang nakakuan. We are well instructed and they are very courteous. no? So that's a very good thing. It's our impression. It's the very it's people. It's a visitor's first impression to the entirety of the place. So people could be an attraction or could be a contributing factor to the success of the tourist destination. Lag diri sa pagadian ng mga driver. I don't know if there are still driver practicing kining mangilad, no? Na ginadungog ra bagan even local nato nga mga kuano, local people here experience kanang taas og singil, dili mo gikan ka isano ka kuan balangasan, mangutana dag pilay hatag nimo, may tag gis raman, no? Tag gis ra may pamasahe, moingon dahil ihatod ta ka sir basta duha imong pamasahe 20. Ihatod ta ka sir basta 15 bisag maogi your regular fare. Do not tolerate those drivers. No? Basig ikaw pod kay ginatolerate man nimo mohatag po kag 15, mohatag po kag 20, masugot po ka nga paninglan ka ato, that is why they are still practicing. What if visitors coming from different municipalities, different provinces, or worse, from different countries. O yung natuon nila, then they will be finding out nga giilan man na ko atong tawanan, no? Giilan man na ko atong driver, no? Basig dili na unya mo balik og visit to our place. Basig dili na unya mo visit to our tourist destination. It could be kaning discussing to our part in tourism and hospitality. So we have to inform these following people or these different frontliners of tourism and hospitality industries about our operation so that all those different factors could be a contribution to the success of our tourist destinations. I hope you get it. I hope you learn about it. What are these different factors that we are going to provide to have an assurance that our tourism or our tourist destination will become successful. Now, if our tourism sector, our tourist destination will become successful, in general, the tourism and hospitality sector will become also successful. Okay? So I hope you just get it. Okay, another one is the characteristic of tourism and hospitality. This is what I've told you earlier. Based on our objective is to differentiate tourism industry to other sectors. Tourism and hospitality sector or industry to other sector. Diba natin mga different sectors or industries. We have agricultural industry, unsay gipang produce agricultural industry. We have root crops, rice, corn, and so on and so forth. Those are agricultural industry, agricultural products. We have electrical industry, so we have different electrical supplies. We have electronics, we have different supplies, and so on and so forth. Our industry as well has different forms of product. Now, ang unang kalahian niya from our industry is a service. Unsay service? Our industry, our client, our guest will be paying we will they will paying us to the service we are going to render, no? Serbisyo nga ato ang i-render. In other industry, they are offering goods. Unsay goods? Makita nila. So, for example, palit kag mais, naay mais nga makita nimo. Sa ato ang industry, magpahilot ka, na experience ra nga gihilot ka, dili nimo madala ang hilotay nasa inyo kay mo nang napalit. No, it's not. Experience ra imong gibayaran nga nahilot ka. That is the product of, that is what we call service, no? Serbisyo ang imong produkto in our industry. Now, one of the characteristics of our tourism product is that in tourism and hospitality, the product is not brought to the consumer, rather the consumer has to travel and go to the product to purchase it. In other industries, an item manufactured in a factory is brought to the wholesaler and retailer and ultimately to the consumer. In our industry daw, if we are going to buy the tourist product, if we are going to buy our tourist product, ang ato adang product is not brought to the consumer. If we are going to buy tourist product, you have to visit the place to buy the product. Gusto ka maagtog Boracay, gusto ka ma-experience sa Boracay, you really have to visit Boracay to experience what Boracay is. The services you get out of Boracay. Dili ka magulat diri sa pagadian nga moani ang Boracay diri. It's very impossible. But compared to other industry, cellphone, man gikan atong cellphone. Japan, US, di ba? Pero ngano nakapalit ta sa cellphone. Bisag naara ta dire. Ang cellphone mismo may biyahe padlong sa ato to the consumer. That's the big difference. Now, in our industry pa gyud, you cannot inspect. It's a matter of trust. It's a matter of trust only. Why? It's because you cannot inspect Boracay, although na mga picture, but it's not reality before we are going to purchase. Mugasto na ka pamasahe padlong dito para mopalit ka dito before you are going to experience what Boracay is. In other industry, palit kag cellphone, di ba? Ito pang ipatesting daan. Inspeksyonon pa na to sa mga feature ani, ang battery ani, ang mo power ba siya before ka mo palit. No, you inspected the what we call this one, you inspected the product of other industry before you purchase it. Sa atong industry, dili. Now, in our industry, the product you bought cannot be brought to your home, cannot be brought by the consumer. To other industry, products that is being brought can be brought to the consumer. Medyo libog. Unsay bot pasabot. Ang produkto sa tourism industry dili madalas ato ang balay kung imong paliton. O magto kag Boracay, may experience ka. Mga banang pasaanong Boracay inig uli nimo, inig mo check in kag hotel Alindahaw, inig uli nimo lokdoon ba na nimong room? No, it's not. But in other industry, if you buy palit kag cellphone, inig uli nimo, dala na imong cellphone. Palit kag refrigerator, palit kag refrigerator, inig uli nimo gapasan kag refrigerator. No? That's the difference. That's a big difference of our industry to other industry. Another one is the product of tourism and hospitality are not used up. They do not exhaust the country's natural resources. The product of other industries have a limited life, and at the end of it are either junked or replaced with new ones. It has something to do with lifespan. Our industry don't have the lifespan, no? Are not used up. Ang Boracay, kanusa pa na nahitabo, pagsugod sa kalibutan na hantod karon. There is no lifespan. But of course, it's because of that thinking, do not abuse po. Dili lagi mahilis ang Boracay, pero mamaot na kung dili nimo atimanon, no? In our industry, there is no lifespan, no? Are not used up. In other industry, there is an expiration date. There is ultimo tawo, di ba? Pila raman takutob sa kalibutan, pinakataas 80, ambot umaabot pabatag 80 sa tong generation. Tanatog 65. Natas kalibutan, no? Nata expiration. Boracay dili are not used up. Palit kag cellphone, maguba. Pila ra ka tuig maguba. Boracay, although dahil dili na siya magamit. Ang Boracay, although maguba, pwede pa nato siya, it depends upon how we care about the place. Meaning, are not used up. Ang dagat, dili na mahubas siguro para sa itong mga beach. No? are not used up. So meaning our tourist product, our tourism and hospitality product are not used up. There is an unlimited lifespan, while other industries do have a lifespan. Are used up, of course. There is an expiration there. Another one is tourism and hospitality are a labor-intensive industry. It requires more manpower than other industries. We are a labor-intensive. That is why during our discussion, during our first meeting, first regular discussion, I told you that you are correct. You've got the correct decision of enrolling as or enrolling in hospitality management if your reason or if your purpose is to employ yourself after graduation. Sure ka nga makatrabaho ka after graduation, sakto imong gipili nga course HM. It's because our industry is a labor-intensive industry. It requires manpower to provide the services. Other industry, kita tao mismo, good morning ma'am, good morning sir, welcome to Jollibee, welcome to McDonald's, manrapo, mo kuan sa to ang mga guest, tao mismo, kinahanglan tao mismo. While other industries to produce their product para maka-expect sa atong industry para makaproduce tag serbisyo, kinahanglan gyud nato tao mismo ang mobuhat. But in other industry, what they are going to use? They are not going to use a lot of people, but they are now employing technology. No? Mo create og mga baso, tao igo ra mag-operate sa machine, dili gyud mismo ang tao mo panday. Karon gani sa atong agricultural industry, mo harvest sa una mga tao pa. Karon unsa na? Igo na lang mag-drive ang tao sa harvester. Harvester na imo kuan. Sa una tao mismo magdaro, karon mag-tractor na, igo na lang mag-drive. Sa una daghan kayong tao magtanom, daghan tao mag-ani, karon isa lang, tulo na lang ka tawo kay mag-assist sa harvester and so on. They're using machines to produce our product. They're using technology to produce their product. But in our industry, it's a labor-intensive industry. It's because we are using a lot of people to do or to produce our product. Okay. Another one is tourism and hospitality are people-oriented. It is primarily concerned with people. One of the most important motivation of tourists is to meet other people and see how other people live. In our industry, we have the opportunity to meet a lot of people. We are referring our guests. We have to face our guests. That is why people-oriented. We are, what do you call this one? We are after to the satisfaction of our people. But in other industry, produkto na sila. That is why biya sa tua kaning sa atong industriya kinahanglan ta nga maayuhon nga mga tao to accommodate being hospitable. That is why we call our clientele as our guest. It's not our visitor, not as customer. Kasi for example, Magto ka sa naninda ka ginamos, palit ka ginamos, unsay ginaapas sa mga tao nganong magbalik-balik siya dito sa o palit sa ginamos. It's not because of you, but it's because of the ginamos. No? It's because of the product being produced. But in our industry, magbalik-balik ka dito, it's because of the service you provide. In a restaurant, bisag unsa kanindot ang pagkaon dira, kung way batasan ang mga waiter, way batasan ang mga waitress, it could ruin the good food. Wa na ganahan mo balik dira. Napoy usahay nga bisag dili kayo nindot ang pagkaon, but it's because the people are very hospitable. The service staff is being responsible. So unsay mahitabo kuan what you call this one, unsay mahitabo ang kuan niya dili na gana daghan gyapon moadto dito. It's because of the wait staff, it's because of the service people. Napoy uban, nindot kay pagkaon, pero way batasan ang mga waitress, wa na ganahan. I have known a particular karinderya here in our locality nga, my God, nindot ng tagpagkaon, pero way batasan ang tindira, di nakaganahan mo balik. No? That is why our industry is a people-oriented industry. Our primarily concern is the satisfaction of the people through our experience, not through the goods that we have to give. Another one is tourism and hospitality. tourism and hospitality are uh, Tourism and hospitality industry uh, are multi-dimensional phenomena. It is dependent on many and varied activities which are separate but interdependent. As I told you, we are up to today. What is uniqueness? No, multi-dimensional phenomena, separate ways, different ways of different phenomena, different dimensions of phenomena. It's because what is unique in our industry, kuyaw kayo no, ug unsay unique sa atong industry mao'y ginaapas nato kay mao'y ginadugok og tawo. But in other industry, what is common is being patronized by a lot of people. And sa atong industriya, ug unsa tuy kanang dili common, mao tuy ginaagto sa mga tawo. Sa uban nga industriya, uso ang cellphone karon, daghang mamalit og cellphone. Uso ang flat screen karon, mao'y ginapalit daghang namalit og flat screen nga TV. So there's a big difference. Another one is the tourism and hospitality industry are seasonal during vacation seasons. This is what I've told you. Diba we have two seasons, the wet season and the dry season. When this happened during wet season and when this happened this dry season. Seasonal ta. During wet season, wala kay tay guest, wala kay tay client. During dry season, di na ta modaghan og visitors. Now, in other industries, mating ulan man or mating init, uso ang cellphone, mupalit og cellphone, daghang mupalit og cellphone. Mating ulan man og ting init, daghang mupalit og what you call this one, daghang mupalit og TV, mupalit gyud siya og TV. In our industries, this is what happened. No? This is what happened. Now, another, it's because of this season, we have this what we call peak and fall season. Peak season, meaning a lot number of visitors during peak season, fall season, walay visitors nga mo kuan, meaning gamay rang ma-produce nga product. In terms of price, in terms of revenue, in terms of profit, kabaliktaran po ni atoa to other industry. In our industry, during peak season, during kaning summer, manay daghang guest, what will happen to our revenue? Dagot ang ginansya, it's because most of the time mahal. That is why ayo sa mo kay pagbakasyon ang kining peak season kay mahal ang mga rooms accommodation, mahal ang ticket sa eroplano, mahal ang mga pagkaon during peak season. Now kung mahal siya, daghan og ginansya ang tourism and hospitality industry. During fall season, kanang special dry season, wala kay produkto dito sa mo declare og bankruptcy or gamay na lang ang ginansya kay wala kayo mang bisita. Usahay pagani ato ang i-promo na mga ticket nga piso fare para lang gyud or 50% discount sa rooms para lang yun na ay visitors mo visit to our place kay we are spending salary to our mga employees to sustain the service or the operation. Mao na itong mga strategy, magpa-buy one take one, magpa 50% sa itong mga room accommodations just to sustain the operation during fall season. Now, in other industry, baliktaran po lang revenue. During peak season, especially sa agriculture, mga tag-agriculture, kana silang peak season, kanang ting harvest, no? Daghan kay sila produkto. Ting harvest of lansones, the revenue of lansones owners, gamay. Again ha, in our industry during peak season, atong revenue or atong ginansya, dako. But in other industry during peak season, gamay. Ano man, kung lansones, kung ting-harvest og lansones, season sa lansones, tagpila na lang man ang lansones. Tag 10 ang kilo, tag 15 ang kilo. Usahay pakapinan pa kag halos isapud ka kilo para lang yun mahurot ang lansones kaysa mga lata. Bahala gamay ang ginansya during peak season. Now, during full season, sa atong industriya, wa gyud tay ginansya. Kay para lang maigo lang ta makasweldo sa ato ang trabahante. Balag mag buy one take one ta para lang ta makasweldo sa atong trabahante. But in other industry, kana pong dili ting harvest og lansones, tagpilang kilo sa lansones karon? 60, 80, halos katunga sa kuan, no? Mangga karon tag 120. It's because it's not the season. It's not the peak season of mangga. 120 ang kilo sa mangga. Meaning dako o ginansya ang ato ang what call this one? Ato ang mamaligyaay during that time. So there's a big difference. There's an opposite difference between our industry to other industry in terms of that particular season. The last one is the industry is dynamic. It is characterized by the changing ideas and attitudes of its customers and therefore must be always prepared and willing to adjust to these things. As I told you, dynamic ta kanang meaning it changes from time to time. We are willing to adapt, especially the fashion. We are, what is that, Malyari? We are willing to adapt to change the fashion of our destination. It's because it depends upon the demand of our tourists. So dili ta pwede mag-static, dili ta pwede magpundo to that particular kay masumhan atong mga guests to visit our place. So what will happen? Di na sila mobalik. So we have to be dynamic, we have to change, we have to adapt changes so that our customers or our tourists will visit again to our destinations. So that ends our discussion this morning. It's because it's already time. So questions and clarification, please write it down. I will be giving you at least 5 minutes to answer your questions or clarifications regarding to our discussion this morning. The continuation of our discussion will be posted to my YouTube channel. So there's no need to meet on Wednesday, a virtual meet on Wednesday. So just visit my